Hello, everybody, and welcome to another incredible week of Season 7 Tilt Champions League. It is week 3, it is day 1, and we're going to see if the Penguin Pajama Party can actually get the party started once again against Ride or Die, who have been riding a lot more than they've been dying. I'm Jaws, joined by Box. Box, we've been talking about this matchup, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on. How are you feeling about tonight?
Yeah, it's definitely one where feels like a lot of the rest of the season could kind of hinge on this one. We've seen, like you mentioned when we were just kind of chatting, Penguin Pajama Party is kind of a little bit of a precipice here. Are they going to be able to pull themselves back, or are they going to end up falling off the edge? Whereas like you said, on the other side, Ride or Die, they've been carrying a lot of momentum. Last week had a substitute, but looked absolutely dominant, and now with their full roster back, I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, that's really going to be the question, right? They had music subbing in last week, had kind of a dicey best of 3, especially in that game 1. But as soon as I'll Take Mid, in particular, got on his pocket picks, that I'll Take Mid Caridian duo just really ran over those games 2 and 3. So they're definitely going to be looking to take that. On the other side, Penguin Pajama Party, to be quite frank, they got kind of blasted off the rift against the Snakerdoodles. Snakerdoodles making a very strong claim. Sandy still looking for that first title. Blood looking to get back into the winner's circle. So really excited to see how they kind of adjust. But yeah, I mean, we talked about a couple of different matchups. My featured matchup's definitely going to be in the top lane with Sir Aaron looking a little bit different. But we are into Champion Select, so we're going to have to see what things look like. Number one, are they going to ban that Mordekaiser, which was, that's been kind of the go-to Sir Aaron pick. And then also with Hippo, are we going to see kind of classic sword boys, win bros, or are we going to see something a little bit different to kind of build on the success of music, going back to the well, bringing back the tanks, and having himself a blast in that series? There's the Mordekaiser's ban, so that answers my
There it is.
question.
Exactly. Take the Mordekaiser away from Sir Aaron. Don't give him a chance to be affected by pressing R on what your biggest threat or the biggest ultimate threat. That's kind of what we saw last time when J-Bob was able to get that Mordekaiser onto the Altake mid Nico, removing him from the team fight, making sure he can't get a big ultimate. That was huge. So we're going to see, like you mentioned, it's a story of the solo lanes. Is it going to be the case of Sir Aaron able to have a bounce back series and able to really put in work? Or is it a case of Hippogriff going back to his more fightery, bruisery, or excuse me, skirmishy kind of vibe versus what we saw last week with music on more tanks, bruisers, more team utility top
Yeah,
laners.
and it's interesting because Hippo actually has a decent pool, right? He's got a
Yeah.
couple of different guys, but he knows what he knows. He likes what he likes.
He likes what he
But
likes is a good way to put it.
yeah, he likes what he likes, and he knows what he knows, and that's a-okay.
Yeah.
Looks like they are hard targeting top lane. They've got the Urgot
Mhm.
ban as well, so they're looking to
No doubt.
push back, push Sir Aaron back in his pool. Meanwhile, I'll Take Mid as
Cannot give
usual,
him the
taking a
Diana.
ton of ban. Yeah, and last week, right, we saw the Silas, we saw the Diana, and also the Echo is kind of the ever-present danger. I'll Take Mid, but also shout out, congratulations on hitting Masters. That's a huge accomplishment, especially as the tiers are kind of getting expanded further and further away. So
Um,
Oriana being targeted towards Abarn, and that is the other question: is like, can Abarn withstand even with all these picks, 3 straight at All Take Mid? Can
mhm.
Abarn kind of survive that early pressure of whatever All Take Mid grabs? Because you know that no matter what he grabs, he's going to be looking for level 2, level 4, level 6 early solo kills and snowball from there.
Yeah, exactly. Man's definitely going to take Ignite. He's definitely going to be looking for kills. It's one of those things where you kind of take him off his primary 3 threats, though, and those are definitely his bread and butter. You watch his solo queue games, you see what he kind of likes to do on a regular basis, and it's kind of the situation where like maybe they think he's a completely different player on those other 3 champions, or excuse me, not on those 3 champions, and onto something else. With the
Yeah.
Lily coming out for Caridian, that is something that we absolutely expected, though. Been one of his staple champions for many seasons now. Also been something that I think in general, he gives him the ability to do many different things for the team. He can be both an AP carry, he can be a long range utility engage. He can also have really effective ganks and clear, and it's something that he's very, very comfortable on. So a really good champion for Caridian.
Yeah, he was exceptional on all of it. He pulled out 3, I think 3 different looks, and even pulling out a tank in the last one. But Lilia, one of those junglers, as you said, like hypermobile, can fill a lot of different roles, and
Oh,
also
are they
that
gonna lock it
engage,
in?
right?
No.
Oh no,
I
I
was
don't think
ready
so.
for it.
Ooh, classic Jinx Janna, love it.
Yeah.
That's a yeah,
Jinx is kind
Janna.
of
You
a
can't go wrong with Janna, right?
yeah.
Janna's great.
Also,
I love Janna
Jinx is so strong right now. It's kind of a get it while you can champion. She's definitely
for
gonna be
sure.
nerfed. Just her current state, where they're going to tone down a little bit of that reset potential, especially capping a little bit of that attack speed game. Right now, she's just a little bit ridiculous, and something that Ryoklu definitely feels comfortable on, and Espen on that Janna as well.
Yeah, it's definitely one of real close strong. And we see the Rakan from Rudy, one of
Classic.
Rudy's go-to picks. That's the classic. And yeah, potentially looking for either an AD that can bully, that can kind of bully and maybe take advantage or force the Jinx
I
to
can see
maybe
the
get a
Zaya.
couple mana. Yeah, I'd love to see the Zaya. But yeah, it's gonna be about like what is Toasty comfortable with potentially going toe to toe with that Jinx channeling, which is incredibly
There it is.
safe and is going to set that Jinx up beautifully. It's going to be the Zaya, so we're going to see probably some serious scraps and potentially playing off the fact, once that tornado is down, once that shield is down, and looking for those windows.
I also
And we
just
actually
really
saw them
like
do that pretty well
Zaya.
last week.
Yeah, I just really like Zaya for Ride or Die in particular. I think as a
Mhm.
team, there's something that they don't necessarily build around Toasty TG. Zaya, especially with Cleanse, gives him a lot of safety, a lot of ways to play team fights, and a lot of potential to have like major pop-up moments without huge amounts of support from the rest of the team. So I think in particular for Ride or Die, Zaya is a great pick.
Yeah, especially with I'll take mid wanting to, him and Creighton are dive buddies. They are the
Mhm.
quintessential super best friends that love to just dive into the back line and cause absolute chaos. You need an AD that can just kind of survive on its own because
Yeah,
Rudy's he's going in there with them.
Zaya is
So yeah,
perfect for that.
yeah, completely agree. As we see second wave of ban starring Jarvan being grabbed from Spurg and the Syndra ban, so they're
Just more
continuing to
mid lane.
hammer away at I'll take mid's pool.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
I mean,
especially
not
you look
surprised.
at the potential that Altec Mid has. They know he's going to be second round, so it's something that's just like, okay, well, let's get rid of the early stuff early, so that way we know he's going to be forced into that second round with a counter pick, potentially. Although most likely Amarn's going to be picking last. Or versus if we get him into the second round, we can ban even more from him. Especially with the Jinx Janet Jarvan, this is a comp straight out of like season 5, season 6. So
Yep.
this is something I'm excited to see for sure.
Okay, and then we got the Gwen ban
Hmm.
aimed straight at Hippo. So Hippo still has a lot of different options, right?
Yeah,
He does have the set. I know he's played a couple of different kind of bruiseries, like less straight up kind of AD assassin damage dealers. He does have those bruisers in his pocket that can
yeah,
bring a little bit more to the table and scale in addition to their dueling capabilities. Abarn getting hit a couple of different kind of safe
good classic.
scalers. Yeah, all of his safe scalers are kind of off the
Yeah.
table. I think Victor's probably the only one that's really
I think Corky's on the
left
table
up.
too. I don't know if
Yeah,
they want
Victor and
Corky with
Corky,
this
yep.
comp,
Or
but
Tristana if they wanted to go with a double AD, but they're a
definitely not
little light.
anymore.
I mean, they had the Lilia, so they could. No, I'm thinking on the side. There's the set. Yep. So that set's one of his go-tos. Likes to fight early. Likes to fight often. I'm
Mhm.
curious what Sir Aaron's going to grab in response because if he grabs a tank, Set loves kicking the crap out of tanks.
Yeah.
So that could be really well in Hippo's favor. And we've seen him on set doing a lot, not just in terms of damage, but in terms of starting fights. Okay,
Ooh, yep.
oh
I was
boy, we're
wondering
gonna
if it
have
was
some.
gonna be a Darius.
That's gonna be spicy. That's actually I remember labbing that with Blood. That's a
Mhm. It's a
really
volatile
precise
matchup.
skill matchup. Yeah.
Exactly. It's one of those where you look toward top lane a lot and you wonder, okay, is Sir Aaron going to be able to kind of keep his momentum without giving up too much in the lane? He definitely needs to not be giving up solo kills, especially to this Darius, because when Darius gets unstoppable, especially against a team comp like this with the Jinx Janet Jarvan, I'm not sure who's going to be there to kill him. That's
Yeah.
what the issue is. And then you look, there's the Nico from the other side. So you can't ban out everything from Altec mid. Nico's definitely one of his kind of bread and butter champions. It's just kind of one of those things where he feels comfortable on it, has some playmaking potential, can look for big ultimates, can be that engaged to support this Lilia as well.
There's Victor.
And just
Yep.
like you were calling it, there's the victor. So I think when you look at both team comps, Penguin Pajama Party definitely know what they want to do. They've been doing this before. Everyone's played this composition before. I think they're going back to basics on this. Where you look on the other side, Ryder Die has just picked comfort across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just a note. I was kind of analyzing the set pick as Hippo was picking it. But yeah, Sir Aaron, Penguin Pajama Party doing a good job of really taking that away. Although I will say, Darius is one of Hippo's favorite champions and
Yeah.
he's really good on it. So I actually don't know if I necessarily like that. I think Hippo's he's one of the things where he could go 0-3 in lane and come out come out into a mid game fight late to the party. Everybody's half health. He dunks away and he's back in this game and he's a total menace. So I think it's going to be tricky and a lot of the pressure, as you said, is going to be on Sir Aaron. I'm curious if Spurg is going to give him a little bit of love early just to kind of get the momentum rolling, get Hippo behind, and get things moving. On the other hand, you mentioned before, Nico can just be an absolute menace. And as we get into our spectator delay, just a quick shout out: if any of y'all would like to give your opinion and save our save our vocal cords a little bit, we'd love a third perspective. Jump into the armchair analyst. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, like going back to kind of where the jungle's going to go, there are some enticing options across the board for both Caridian and Spurg.
Absolutely.
They could go top and try to get the snowball rolling, because both of these guys can absolutely snowball. They could try to offset and counter gank. If I'll take mid gets aggressive, or even in the bot side, if there are those scraps and summoners get burned early, we could see a total four champion party in the bot lane. So I'm honestly curious, kind of where you think this jungle pressure is going to go, because there are some spicy options.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just kind of bouncing off what you said about it being about early, I think it's the early game that's going to dictate things because the Penguin Pajama Party cannot fall behind early. This is definitely a comp where they need to be surviving lane. I don't know how much agency they necessarily have with something like the Victor, but I'm going to be looking top lane. I'm going to be looking bot lane. I'm going to be kind of watching to see, okay, can they survive? Can they make it out without giving up all of the objectives, all of the kills, things like that? Because if they can maintain any semblance of rhythm and momentum going into the mid game, I think they have a lot of potential to scale. However, that's the name of the game. Can they scale before the game starts to get out of hand to things like this Darius and this Nico and this Lilia? I mean, Xayah Rakan is going to be holding steady down there. They're going to look good no matter how this lane goes, how this game goes. So definitely look to the top side of the map to see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're going to see some 2v2 fireworks in that top lane, especially if they can get Hippo going. He is an absolute nuisance. He has one speed, right? He has one speed, and it is go. Whether he's ahead, behind, or even, he's just going to kind of do his thing. And yeah, Darius loves it.
Kills. Yeah,
absolutely.
He's definitely going to be on a champion where he has the ability to both pull off big flanks, but maybe also side lane against the set. If he starts getting a little bit ahead, I don't know who's going to be answering him in the side lane. Is it going to be Victor? Is it going to be Jinx? Probably not. They got to be where they got to be. Victor's going to be wanting looking for picks. He's going to be want to have like strong setup around objectives. But Set, is he going to be able to hold up? It's going to be a big make it or break it moment for Sir Aaron. And is Spurg going to be able to make enough plays on this Jarvan to both counter against this Lilia, where Caridian looked like last week he was just everywhere all at the same time. He had winning lanes, granted, but he was always in the right place at the right time to either to counter gank or to make overextended solo laners get punished. It was a really, really strong performance. So it's going to be a big onus on Sir Aaron and Spurg.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think Caridian, he's really shown on the Lilia just taking full advantage of her mobility and just the flexibility of what she can do. Those long range pickoffs, lot of opportunities on that. So as the final seconds of the spectator delay countdown, who do you think is going to take this one?
I'm going to give it to Ride or Die. I kind of like what they're doing. I think they got a lot of comfort. I think it's something where I'm worried that Penguin Pajama Party didn't draft themselves enough early game to be able to kind of hang in there throughout the early mid. So I'm going to go with Ride or Die. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I think that I will say it just to give Penguin Pajama Party a little bit of kudos. Like, they do have their mid game is great, right? If they can kind of get to that mid game, their 10 to 15 minute skirmishes are really solid. And also something to note is that their kite and their zone control is spectacular, right? Zet, if someone dives in, Set can literally just yoink him out of a fight. Janna can reset a fight. Janna can kite. Victor has his gravity well. There's a lot of ways where they could actually play this a lot
with
more.
This glacial augment Janna, just like you were saying, glacial augment against
Darius.
Darius might be having a hard time against things like gravity field. Janna, especially with Spurg, if he just locks him in, plus Sir Aaron ulting him back, you're totally right. That's something I hadn't considered, and that's something you kind of look forward to. Is Hippo going to be able to play around those issues? He's going to be able to get the perfect flank. He does have Ghost, so that's an ability to kind of still make plays happen. Ooh, we're seeing a little bit of a stack.
Maybe. Yeah, they're definitely looking to make something happen. I will say I do agree with you. I think Ride or Die has a better comp. And I've just seen enough games where Hippo plays Darius where it's like it's hard to bet against him, Like he just kind of knows what to do on that champion. As we see, an invade coming in. Not able to get anything.
So strong, that's something we haven't necessarily talked about, and I just saw Reform Bully talk about in the chat, and that's something I 100% agree with. I think the state of Jinx right now is kind of insane.
Oh yeah, she's busted.
That I'm surprised, and I'm gonna go and throw this out there because I don't know how much we haven't seen. I'm surprised we haven't seen Jinx Melio at all. I think they both got buffed this patch, and they're both champions that naturally kind of synergize together. So I'm surprised that it's a combo that we haven't necessarily seen. Melio giving Jinx that range, especially with lethal tempo. She can just stand still and just turn into an absolute machine gun. I think it's something where a lot of laners, especially a lot of supports, are hesitant on it, as we're seeing some early trading already. But it's something I kind of want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see, yeah, I'll take mid just pretending to be his jungler. They are very tight, and it is one of their kind of combos. Seeing kind of what they've been able to do in past seasons, and seeing them kind of carry that momentum on as we see an early trade in favor of Hippo, that bleed going down. Watching Critty and I'll take mid kind of have the mind meld and just kind of be together, roaming well. It's really fun to watch. It's not fun to play against, quite the opposite, but it is super fun to watch as we see a kind of a push on early level 2 for Rudy and Toasty, taking the initiative in that lane and taking advantage of what we were saying was probably kind of an early game advantage for them before that Jinx can get moving.
Yeah, and Steve, I'm ready for another game 3. I feel like every time we've passed it together, it's just been nonstop game 3s, and I'm really stoked for this one. I hope we get to see 3 of this.
Monster chunk. Yeah, that's the thing with Sir Aaron, and I will call out just having had to kind of dive into this matchup, knowing that Darius was a pick and like trying to learn that on the set, getting into that queue, which is really counterintuitive, like getting into that queue and trying to get a stun.
Oh no, he's standing there.
Yeah, that's rough. That's really rough.
Standing there spamming emotes, and now he has to burn his flash for it.
Yep, and Hippo's gonna fly in, go under the tower, try to make something happen, and he's gonna get out, but the bleed stacks will be enough. That's gonna be first blood for Hippo, taking full advantage of the summoner advantage, just ghosting out there. As you see another knockup in the bot lane, stun does not land onto Ryoklu, but Ryoklu goes incredibly low. No summoners burned quite yet, so good summoner discipline in that bot lane, but Rudy diving in, getting a nice knockup. Toasty not quite able to get that follow-up stun. So Ryoklu getting away with it a little bit, but they're going to have to be very careful they don't get behind on this one.
Yeah, really bad kind of situations early on in these lane states. This is kind of something you can't afford to have in both bot lane and top. Top lane, we're seeing Sir Aaron go with a little bit of the BM, kind of spamming his sit-ups, and then just gets punished for it by Hippo. Both has to burn his flash, TP, and he still dies for it, as we're seeing again.
Yeah, here comes, getting rooted down. Abarn is down, he flashes in, Ignite goes down, the last tick away, flashing from Caridian to secure that, and there goes that 2v2, getting all take mid, moving, not the kill that he was hoping for, but he will take the assist absolutely to prevent who is probably one of the best late game shot callers, right? That post 30 minutes, I'm going to bet on Abarn most days of the week, and they want to make sure they don't get there with any chance to win this game.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we said can't happen. Both solo laners down flash and TP. It's 4 minutes into the game, and they've given up kills after even still with burning those summoners. This is something that we said that cannot happen for the Penguin Pajama Party because they need to stabilize this early game. They need to stay in it. In bot lane, we're even seeing like a very minor CS lead, but mostly we're seeing just the bot lane holding steady, and that is the one that we really need Ryoklu to kind of stay in the game if Penguin Pajama Party are to stay in this game as a whole.
Yeah, it's really going to be the reset watch, right? It can Ryoklu get more resets and run over a fight before Hippo gets a bunch of resets and runs over the fight? Because one of the two of them is going to get a bunch of resets in these fights, and that's going to be the question. The only kind of the saving grace that I could see with Hippo is that he does not have, or kind of against Hippo, is he doesn't have the teleport, right? So there's a world where Penguin Pajama Party could find fights where Hippo is not present and is out of position, and let Ryoklu pop off without the worry of getting an axe in her back.
Exactly. And I feel like you kind of look at those situations and you wonder kind of how they got to that point. If was the lane state just in a bad spot? I mean, obviously the top lane was a little bit of BM, but mid lane,
yeah.
You kind of expect.
I mean, to be fair, he took 2 really bad trades before he was BMing, so it wasn't necessarily that specific situation. It was the 2, getting 25%, and then the sit-ups were probably the problem,
Yeah, exactly. I think nonetheless, I mean, he's gonna have a bad situation in this lane, but you just can't give up Darius too much more. He has no ghost, he has no flash, so I think the general threat of Darius into the set is probably a little bit lighter now. As actually Ryoklu's quite a sizable lead in CS, despite kind of the early pressure we're seeing from the bot lane. So good on Ryoklu, still staying in this game, not making that bad trade early kind of sit for too long, as Altic is continuing to go for more. Man, that is
just getting chunked.
Damage. It's so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of free. And this is that was what his fifth. This is his 5th option. he had 4, I believe 4 of the 5 bans were aimed directly at him. So on his fifth option, as we see a potential flash coming in. Actually, wow, I'll take mid, actually solo killing Abarn, flashes in, gets the ignite. That was off stream as we see Caridian and teams setting up. But on the other side, Sir Aaron actually getting away with a solo kill of his own. making us eat our words and turning that lane around. That's exactly what he needed in this one.
I don't know if
Just
Spurg
to
wants
make
to be
the ball
here.
keep going. Rudy diving in, getting the knockup. Root comes down from alt take mid, and Spurg goes down. So now we see a bit of a disaster from Penguin Pajama Party. Multiple deaths and a free dragon for Ride or Die.
That's, I mean, it just a really mixed bag there. Like you said, you give up the solo kill mid, you get the solo kill top, that's fantastic, but you know you have no pressure on Dragon. I don't know if he was maybe thinking a steal on the first Mountain Dragon of the game, but I think it's something where Spurg doesn't really have any business being there. Continue to farm, continue to clear. There's really not a situation where that ends up being the right play, especially with 4 people around that Dragon. But meanwhile, top lane, got to give props to where we were kind of ragging on him earlier.
Yeah, a little
solo
bit.
kill against the Darius after giving up that early solo kill himself. Really good job from Sir Aaron, keeping his mental strong, staying inside the game. Not quite sure what happened mid, but you know, it's probably just I'll take mid things.
Yeah, it probably landed a root because he flashed. I heard it. I have the spec turban. I heard the flash ignite because the directed camera was jumping into it. I heard flash ignite, so I'm assuming landed a root. I can jump back and look actually. Landed a root and then was able to kind of make it happen. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, and I think you kind of look at the state.
Yeah, landed a root and then just ultied and popped him immediately.
Yeah.
So pretty nasty.
You kind of look at these trades that are happening mid lane, and it's not like Abarn is doing anything exceptionally bad. It's just I'll take mid is landing his root through the minions, and then presses Q, and that's half of Abarn's health. It's kind of very difficult overall.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm actually watching the top lane. So what happened was Hippo grabbed his Hippo went for the execute while Sir Aaron still had his shield up. So Sir Aaron was able to get a pretty decent trade, and then pulled, and then Hippo actually fought him under tower. So he fought him under tower, and then Sir Aaron was able to ulti him. Still had a shield up, tanked a decent chunk of that damage. But anyway, back to the action as we go.
Yeah. And I think you kind of look at how that would have gone, and that's pretty much what you would assume. The only way that Sir Aaron's probably getting that kill is on like a little bit of a coin flip dive from Hippogriff. Oh man.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see a fight going in, I'll take mid is their roots down Spurg. Caridian flashing in onto Abarn. The Drowsy goes down, but the Ignite is going to finish the kill. Caridian getting credit for that. The shutdown, though, from Abarn onto I'll take mid. Stun Caridian, and Caridian's going to be able to get out of there. So that's a double kill for Caridian, 3-0-1 on this Lilia, and showing why she is sometimes a ban against him, because, man, he knows exactly what he's doing when he's piloting that.
Yeah, Ryoklu's still CSing really well down here, but, I mean, during that river fight there, I think the difficult thing is that it's really tough to kind of get that timing down, because honestly, like Jarvan and Victor have really great synergy, but you kind of have to be able to lock them inside that Jarvan ult with the Victor ult taking on everyone, and they were just their timing was a little off there. If they had been able to go in at the same time, maybe that fight looks a little bit different, but as a result, Spurg kind of took his entire health bar before Victor was really able to kind of get the wave into a spot where he could show up.
Yep, and the prio is showing, right? Caridian kind of owning the top side of the map, grabbing the scuttle, going to solo grab the Rift Herald now. We've seen him do this in almost every series. Grabs the Rift Herald, goes mid, unlocks, I'll take mid. As we see Rudy with another knockup. There goes the charm, the root, the lockup onto Ryoklu. They're dropping everything they can on her, and she is staying alive. Great disengage, and maybe minions made things a little bit unlucky, but they layered as much as they could, and Ryoklu was just able to walk away.
Yeah, they I think it was a little bit of misplay on the side of Toasty TG. He kind of stacked his CC a little bit too much with Rudy. Still, Ryoklu was still under the charm, still knocked up with all of Rudy's CC, and then kind of pulled the feathers back a little bit too earlier. If he had been able to stack up a few more feathers, that should have been a guaranteed kill, or at least getting a splash out.
Yeah, but as you said, Ryoklu now with a 10 CS lead, the cull is ticking down. So her game plan is very, very clear, right? Scale into that mid game and then make one of these team fights happen. So Toasty having to be a little more patient. We see a flash knockup just misses from Rudy, being aggressive, trying to make something happen. But as with the most of this lane, just not quite enough to get that edge they need.
Yeah, really well played from Rudy. You could tell he was kind of like positioning to look for that, but there's that not having flash is kind of doing for him. Ryoklu, although man, Rudy is just so bloodthirsty down here. Man knows what he wants, and it is blood. It is hilarious to watch, but it is really fun to watch as well.
Well, to be fair, nice footwork, Sir Aaron. Yeah, that's really the tail of that top lane is like if he can get that Q on cooldown or make sure he doesn't get hit with the edge of the blade, as Spurg is actually there trying to offer a little bit of support. Yeah, we see a tower dive going down. Rudy gets the knockup. They finally knock out Ryoklu with the help from Caridian. Toasty tanking the turret himself. himself. He's going to walk away. It looks like they might be looking for more, actually, with
Yeah.
Espen. The next mini wave is coming in, so they are going to go for more. Goes airborne is Espen, and Rudy, beautiful tower tank, just kind of hangs out, letting his carry get the kill. So that's going to be a 2 for 0 that they've been looking for. Caridian, right place, right time, and oh, look, a Rift Herald.
Kind of bad to worse situation for the Penguin Pajama Party. You kind of want that to be played slightly differently from the side of Ryoklu and Espen, but ultimately they didn't have a lot of tools to deal with it. They stayed a little bit too long. They weren't necessarily, I wasn't sure where the jungle tracking was, but they kind of just overstayed by a wave, and so it didn't give them a chance to really play it differently because they had no ultimates really. They didn't have any summoners, so they kind of just had to sit there and get dove. But from the side of Ride or Die, like you mentioned, they did a really good job with that dive. Kind of trading off aggro really well. Toasty maybe burning his ult a touch early and forced to burn his flash on top of it, but regardless, it still worked out for the best. They got the big Rift Herald, and they got both kills.
Yeah, definitely what they've been looking for. Ryoklu still, still able to hold on. As we said, she's trying to get that call to tick down. Hippo grabbing a couple of plates. So there are absolutely, there are win conditions on the side of Penguin Pajama Party that you had mentioned before. They really need to slow the game down if they want to see them, because otherwise Ride or Die is just going to run them over. This top lane's about to go down. Bot lane's definitely about to go down. Top lane's not far behind, and mid lane is, Abarn's doing his best, but it's a tough early Nico, especially when you have a Lilia just kind of bopping around, waiting for him to overstep even just a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough because with the advantages that the solo lanes have, I'm not sure what Spurg's game plan can be. He's kind of trying to get what he can out of the jungle while also making plays, but there's just so much pressure from the solo laners all around the map and so much objective control from both sides that I don't know what Spurg can necessarily do in this game.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, the only thing he can maybe do is maybe go for, you would say, oh, he could counter jungle, but I wouldn't counter jungle a 3-0 and 3 Lilia. She's pretty powerful. She could probably solo him at this point with her mobility. As soon as the flag and drag is down, he can't really do much. She'll just kite her down. The only thing I could think of is, power farm, maybe try to get some scuttles, try to set up some global objectives and try to set up a pickoff. But yeah, every single lane on the side of Ride or Die is looking fantastic. They're almost 4,000 gold ahead, squeaking their way towards 5,000 as we approach the 14-minute mark.
Oh,
and here comes Rudy once again, gets the charm. I don't believe got the knockup, and the Chomper's trying to split things. Toasty pounding onto Ryoklu. Ryoklu split from her carry. Espen's not going to be able to do anything, and that's going to just be a clean kill onto Ryoklu. And Rudy and Toasty should be able to push this tower down, as we see I'll take mid hovering around that dragon. So they should be able to knock this tower down. As we see Caridian coming in, flashing from Hippo. Sir Aaron is low. Is he going to go for the dunk? No, Sir Aaron's going to be able to get away. So flash, counter flash. Sir Aaron survives, but Caridian is there to help take these towers down. And yeah, it looks like Ride or Die is trying to accelerate this game state, move themselves into a place where Penguin Pajama Party cannot scale up, cannot be safe. And just as objectives as Bounty's hit, let's see if they go for a dive in this top side.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I don't think that's a situation that should happen down there, but with the dive...
Oh yeah, they are. Wow, just bonking away. Hippo gets the heal. That's going to be turret as well. Bot lane turret goes down, and now we're going to see potentially a fight for Dragon. And Penguin Pajama Party actually in a better position than Ride or Die for this one.
Yeah, I think with the pressure top side, they definitely got the kill. But you kind of look at... Oh, Jinx Rocket? No. But you kind of look at where the pressure is going, and it's kind of going to the right places. They're happy to give up this dragon. Because for them, it kind of doesn't mean anything. For the side of Penguin Jam Party, they need this bounty to start coming down. But I think he might be dead.
Oh, he may potentially be dead. There's the knock up, the knockdown, the stun. Abarn flashes out. Does have the ignite on him. Good laser to disengage the fight, and Spurg is just going to be able to walk away. So everybody's able to walk away, but a key flash burn from Abarn. And on a low mobility champion like Victor, that could mean death in the next team fight.
Yeah, I think Victor might need Azanias this game. You kind of look at the ability that Ride or Die have the ability to get onto him. You look at the Lilia sleep, the Nico engage, the just kind of Darius running at you, frankly. I think it's something where he might need the ability to, if he wants to play any sort of regression at all, the ability to kind of pick off people, one-shot people. It's something that he's gonna have to potentially get Azanias. I mean, I think that might be his next item here. It's either that or Shadow Flame, right? But we really need this Jinx to get online ASAP. She actually has pretty decent items for the situation. Still up on farm on Toasty. But as soon as the Jinx is online, they can actually start fighting. But until then, I'm not sure what their win condition is.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough one. Speaking of win condition and gold advantage, could I see the gold differentials from the two champions?
Oh,
Okay, let's see.
speaking of
Okay, yeah.
that,
So big advantage on the Darius, huge advantage in the jungle across the board as Ryoku just gets deleted by I'll Take Mid. That has been the name of the game.
not your
I'll Take
minions.
Mid sees champion. I'll Take Mid kills champion. A-Barn does not have flash, gets knocked out, gets pushed out. And yeah, it really is ride or die's map right now. And Penguin Pajama Party are allowed certain things, but they are not allowed a potential comeback option right now as yeah, there's just not a lot of options for them. As we see Hippo coming in from the top side, pulls Innsberg, gets knocked up, gets the dunk. There's the reset. Are we going to see another one? Yes, we will. Oh, last one. Hippo's just going for the dive. He doesn't even care. He knows that turret's going down. Baits out the exhaust as well. 17 minutes in. Ride or Die just running this game over.
Unbelievably well played for Ride or Die. Just with all 4 members coming up, really just 3 members that were able to be involved in that play. But we look at what I'll Take Mid did, getting that early solo kill, count your minions, and they just kind of spiral that into more and more. They're able to secure the kill onto the Jarvan with the top laner coming in out of vision, and then you continue to see big plays coming out of Rudy, flying in there with his Reconnel, getting the double knockup in addition to locking up the kill for Hippogriff to get his reset, ult off, and just annihilates Espen's health bar. Really well played from Ride or Die. Impressive team fighting and really good synergy.
Yeah, and we're gonna probably keep seeing a lot of that. The champion selections really paying off for Ride or Die. You mentioned before they're picking comfort and they're absolutely seeing plays and seeing opportunities that the experience on these individual champions is affording them. And playing the matchups great. But yeah, the tail of the tape really is. I said it's going to be a reset party, and only one person is invited. And clearly, Hippo has been invited, and Ryoklu has just been demoted to whatever, wherever the party is not. Oh no! As we see a double drowsy going down, 2 key people are asleep, and Victor is dead. Hippo on a killing spree. He is going to continue this party cruising down and trying to chase Ryoklu down. Ryoklu kiting him as best he can, but he is ghosted. Oh, can he get the pull? He does get the pull under, gets the slap. Show me the dunk.
Oh,
and she's going to potentially bleed out. No. Oh, there's Ryoklu somehow surviving. So Hippo chasing a little bit late, and the fight was definitely split. So, but 2 members of the Penguin Pajama Party are down. Make that 4, and only Hippo is going to pay for it. That is I'm going to call it a semi-dirty ace because Hippo went down, but Ride or Die in total control of this game 1. 19 minutes in, 8,000 gold lead, and they're going to take down this mid-inner and potentially more if they so choose.
Yeah, we're seeing the Hextech Alternator come out. But I really wonder if this Victor needs the Zanyas. He gets picked off from the ball coming from the Lilia and has no chance of survival. He is just immediately dead. You chain all the CC in from the Rakan and the Darius, and that's it. That's like just a lost team fight right there. Ryoklu with some pretty good kiting along with the Janna. Double ghost happening. That was pretty funny to look at, but was able to secure at least 1 kill on the Darius. That's a lot of money in the pocket of the Jinx, but I'm not sure if it's enough at this point. They just look a little disjointed. They don't look quite together on these plays. And you kind of look at what Espen has been doing on this Janna, and it's something where you kind of want him to be able to enable the Jinx, but there's not a whole lot to enable right now. Jinx isn't online. She's probably got at least another full item on top of this. And oh, yep, is he gonna do it? Oh, Jinx is walking up. Oh, yep, there it is. Goodbye, Ryoklu. And goodbye, Jinx. Oh, man. Okay, so you kind of look at overall this situation, and I'll Take Mid is just getting kill after kill after kill, really showing his comfort on the sneaks, and surely unbannable on this man. As finally they're going to look for a play over into Hippogriff. The Darius looking for a pull. Big heal coming through, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Yeah, Sir Aaron gets the final kill. Finally, with another kill on the board for Penguin Pajama Party, but meanwhile, the Dragon goes over for the other side. Toasty GG, a rock down here in the bottom lane, has the full 2 items. 4-0 and 4, looking very, very solid on the Xayah, looking very comfortable. Hasn't had the team playing around him a lot, but nonetheless, is still able to make plays happen when they're available to him. The entire time, A-Barn's finally getting some farm here in the middle lane, but he is so far behind the pace of this Neeko. He's going to be about a full item behind, especially once you look back at this Neeko is able to kind of fully go back and buy. I think the tail is going to be what happens around this Baron, but it's going to be a question of do they want to contest the Baron. Crucially, they do still have the Rift Herald. They have the Rift Herald for Penguin Pajama Party, but maybe hopefully get a bounty. I would guess top lane. Oh, nope, they sent that mid. It's probably looking like it was about to expire regardless, but if he had been able to get that into the top lane, I think it's something that would have made a lot of sense for them to be able to get some bounty gold, maybe close a little bit of this 9k gold lead. Oh my goodness, it's not even 22 minutes in. Rudy's looking for something here. He's kind of walking forward. He does have the it's not the Shirley's, excuse me, his ultimate available to him. And that's something that Steve and I haven't quite talked about yet. The ability for the Rakan to enable the speed up of the Darius, as I'll take mid now going in, is taking the turret, force the flashback out, actually getting collapsed on by everyone. A very nice ult from Espen, is able to kind of secure a lot of the disengage as the flash coming back in, excuse me, the TP coming in from the Victor, and they're going to trade the Baron for this kill on Altec. He lived quite a while. Really well played from Espen on the Janna. Ulting them back out, but it is a kill for Baron, and I hesitate to say this, but in this game state, that might just be best case scenario. I'm not sure that there's a better situation. Rudy popping the Shirley is just for fun, as they just get their base going and get the Baron buffs going onto the minions. Maybe some bounty gamers here, though, in the mid lane. On their own. Ooh! Oh, the Lily Ball just missing out. Abarn doing a decent amount of damage, but they might just have to get the heck out of dodge. Now here is Spurg flashing out. Rudy going continue in. And I doubt Darius on the flank, as Lily is going to get a big sleep, getting hit the ball over onto, and burning flash for no reason. Abarn's just going to die after giving up his summoner. Oh no, and Spurg is going to die on the end of this as well, and no Darius ult needed because they are both dead. Jinx getting more bounty gold down here in the bottom lane, but Penguin Pajama Party just looking very disjointed on all of these plays. It looks like a couple of them want to make some plays happen together, but not quite everyone, all five on the same page. Meanwhile, on the other side, Ride or Die, it looks like they don't know how to do anything apart. They're just constantly glued to each other, constantly making plays, and we've seen that really turn into, what, like 9k gold lead at this point, and it just seems like it's just continuing to spiral out of control. Here's an inhib. Sir Aaron maybe looking for a play. Big ult over onto the back, and here's Jinx ult coming in over top. Ruby getting low, but Toasty TG doing some damage. Now Caridian is getting low as well. That's so much money. They're going to try and get more on top of it, although that unfortunately went to the pocket of Sir Aaron. Ryoku looking for the reset gaming. Toasty TG turning around saying, you want to fight? I'm here to fight. Now he is able to get some feathers onto the ground. Glacial Augment coming in, killing to get onto Ryoku. Now Toasty TG might just be able to kill everyone here. Sir Aaron doesn't quite have the damage to make this play happen, but yes he does. Now here Spurg comes in. They're going to be able to kill the bot lane from the Ride or Die. Now Rudy flashing just for fun. A lot of kind of unnecessary flashes, but ultimately it actually ends up working out pretty well. Unfortunately though, a lot of gold kind of going onto the set instead of onto Jinx. That's not where they wanted it.
Yeah,
now, I think the unfortunate thing is Toasty did not need to go for that play. He was out. Instead, he gave over a big shutdown, granted to the set, and I think he got the kill on the Jinx, who wasn't really worth that much gold. So ultimately, I think just getting a little overconfident. I don't think it's going to jeopardize the game at all, but still not necessary.
Yeah, and Ryoku and Abarn do have, as we're looking at, there's definitely a gold differential advantage, but Abarn and Ryoku do have some of those items where they could make something happen, although their base is in absolute shambles right now, so that's going to be tough. Apologies, folks. We had a minor doggy emergency, but looks like it's resolved right now, so thank you so much, Box, for solo casting while we cleaned up. Yeah.
Oh, no.
what happens when dogs get sick?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're cruising away. Yeah, looks like still, Ride or Die definitely still in the driver's seat. That middle inhibitor is going to be a serious problem. Still a bit away from, Soul Point. I wasn't able to see if did First Baron go towards Ride or Die. I see it's dead.
They traded I'll take mid's life for Baron. So
well, yes, that's that. By the way, that is kind of a common play we've seen from them. Is the I'll take mid, draws like 2 to 3 people because he's super powerful, and as a result, they just take an objective. I see Rudy jumping in, snagging Spurg. Spurg gets chain CC'd, able to flag and drag out. So that's actually Rakan ulti down. And I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to make something happen. Penguin Pajama Party is able to make something happen as a result of it, because the dragon is live. Ride or Die does have a really solid position, though.
Something that we have seen is Espen's pretty much using his ult just for the knockback. He's not actually channeling it for the heal, especially with Moonstone. Not sure that's necessarily the right call. You kind of do want to at least be channeling it for a second, and especially now with it down for this dragon fight. It's just third dragon. It's not soul. Not sure it's necessarily something that's worth fighting, but yeah, I think they've made that call as well.
Yeah, it looks like just the choke points being held by I'll take mid and Rudy. And something we didn't really mention is just the bleed and the drain and just the kind of the damage over time that
Hmm.
a lot of that ride or die can put onto
Oh,
Penguin Jana Party. So that fully channeled Janna ult can offset that, potentially stop a Darius reset, potentially stop quick assassinate. So yeah, definitely a
yeah.
good call out of something that they could be looking at, because I don't know about you, but I haven't really seen Espen on kind of the like hyper crunchy enchanters as much. It's been more as we see the minion cruising through. That minion isn't there. What's going on with that minion? Um, Whoa, it's not a minion. That's crazy.
I
But
mean,
no, we haven't really seen Espen on those kinds of champions. We've seen Espen
I
as more
mean,
of kind of like the tanky engagers.
and it's not
Um,
exactly a skill and expression champion. I think it's fine. I think it's just more like you have to play in a way that is going to enable the rest of your teams. That's going to be in ways that like enable vision. If you're going the Moonstone, then obviously you're playing for the heals on that. I think Shrelius actually is probably the play this game.
oh
That's what
yeah.
would have recommended. Oh man, and the staff of flowing water. I'm not sure about this.
Well,
Have
they need the mobility, right? Like
Yeah.
Set
Well,
needs
I
to run
definitely
up
wrote
on
it
you.
down.
Jarvan needs
I
to run
definitely
up
wrote
on
it
you.
down all
Victor and Jinx are damaged turrets. Like
This is
they need the mobility for sure.
well, yeah. I think Shirelia's Ardent is absolutely. I don't know. I don't think Solar Water is that at all. But regardless, it's something where it's not exactly a champion that you look bad on ever. It's just is your decision making correct?
Yeah, Hippo attack trying to go in on three people and just going to be able to walk away. Drops the ghost. He actually had to ghost and flash for that. I didn't see any major cooldowns burned on the side of the Penguin Pajama Party, but both summoners down for Hippo. Not sure if they're going to be able to take anything of it. He's just going to back off and reset. Baron is coming up shortly, though, and that is going to be the prize that Ride or Die is looking for to crack open another side of the Penguin Pajama Party's base as they're setting up for it. Great vision control. There it goes. And they're just gonna, their contention is just kind of hang back and just start taking pot shots at Penguin Pajama Party and make them engage into them.
Yeah. Fortunately, oh, unfortunately, I mean to say for Penguin Pajama Party, the gold lead had kind of shrunk a little bit when they got those shutdowns. I kind of mentioned that they all went onto Sir Aaron, but you also kind of look at where it is now, and it's actually kind of widened a little bit. I'm not sure how the farm
Oh my
situations
God!
look.
Look at all take mid, dude. Look at all take mid. I love it. I don't know if they're going to be able to bait them into it, but if they can, that is such a great setup. Now it looks like we're going to have a skirmish into the mid lane. Tron going down onto Sir Aaron. Sir Aaron once again tanking it with his shield, but the reset will still go down. Hippogriff is stunned, but that's just going to kind of slow things down. Spurg looking for the counter engage, is able to get the front line knocked up. He's going to dunk it down. In the back line, though, Abarn and Ryoku are slamming every single health bar as hard as they possibly can. Root goes down, Abarn flashes in on all take mid, is able to get the kill. Hippo pushes him back with the damage. He's half health. Toasty gets exhausted, goes down. Is this going to be the Hippo show?
Oh,
Hippo goes low, but
no.
he gets kited back, and the Penguin Pajama Party turn this fight on their head. That's the kind of the kite back, kite forward that they've been looking for, just on that razor's edge. Ryoklu missing the electric charge, and Caridian's going to be able to run away, but that is the fight. We are seeing life on the Penguin Pajama Party as they start up this Baron, but they don't really have a lot of tankiness to finish this thing off. Actually, they got Abarn shields. They should be able to knock this one out, unless Caridian can come in with the steal.
Yeah. Ride or Die getting a little bit too excited going for that chase and Spurg with just the perfect flank. I think it's something where a lot of credit has to be given to Spurg, getting a huge EQ. Oh no, Ryoku might die here.
Yeah, she needs to get out.
The dots are going. Espen got to shield him. Yeah, there it is.
Good shield, good shield. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Creighton going and gets him solid chunk. And Sir Aaron is continuing this on. It looks like there's a little bit of miscommunication between Penguin Pajama Party. They are way too low on this, but so is the Baron. Rudy and Creighton are jumping in on Sir Aaron. Sir Aaron's trying to keep the smite out of the equation. Spurg is here now. Ryoku's going to take the hit. Ryoku goes down to Baron. Baron is starting to respawn, and oh my God, this is an absolute disaster for the Penguin Pajama Party as we hit that magical 30-minute mark. Magic is not there right now for them. Miscommunication, staying too long, maybe feeling like that was their only chance to get back in this, and they just handed Ride or Die that Baron on a silver platter.
Well, where to even begin? I mean, I was just praising their ability to kind of turn around a hopeless situation with Spurg getting a land huge 4-man ultimate with the Victor ult on top of it. It was just, it looked like the perfect situation, and they're able to make a huge play. Ultimately, I'll take mid getting blown up by just Victor things, and then Toasty Teachy not able to do enough damage, along with the Hippogriff Darius. But man, they get 4 kills, almost clean up Caridian for the ace, and that's what comes back to bite them. Caridian living on 1 HP, just dancing around the pit, distracting them, frankly, enough until the rest of his team is kind of able to come and support with the Rudy, and it's just a nightmare now. Like, it will look to be the big turnaround situation in this Blues Gonna Leash too. Oh, it's like they can't catch a
Yeah.
break.
Yeah, that's rough. And we see Soul Point. The Jinx Rocket is a little too early, and this is going to be a free Chemtech Soul for Ride or Die, and they should be able to just walk this one in.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is all she wrote for Penguin Pajama Party. They had, I mean, when you look at their team fighting, the ability of Spur to make plays is without question. He was absolutely the catalyst for that entire turnaround happening. It looked like the rest of his team was ready to just kind of retreat, and that was 4v5. I forgot to point out. So Aaron kind of died at the very beginning of that fight, but nonetheless, it's not quite enough, and they might just kill Avon here.
Yeah, and here goes the Ghost going in onto onto Hippo. Hippo just dunks A-Barn almost immediately. I'll take mid, getting Rilku down, just soloing her with Espen trying to thwack her away. Sorry, bud, that's not going to really do a whole lot. Sir Aaron trying to get the return kill onto I'll take mid, does succeed in that, but Hippo is just chasing him down, going for another one. Hippo gets locked up under the turret, is tanking as best he can. Wow, he is so tanky. That's ridiculous. And Caridian coming in with a cleanup. That's going to be game one. Ride or Die enjoying their place on top for another game as we see what will Penguin Pajama Party do to stop this absolute juggernaut.
Yeah, I think that's one of those, that game is pretty self-explanatory, and that's kind of been Ride or Die's MO this entire season. You look at what they've been kind of trying to play, and they have a very particular style. I mean, they force early game plays, they get this huge advantage early, and then they choke them out. They don't let the enemy team walk anywhere, they don't let them kind of get into any lane to be able to get farm to get back into that. And if there was one weakness they have, it might be just that a little bit of shakiness when you look at a little bit of that team fighting. We saw that kind of in the last one where it almost looked rough, but you kind of wonder, do they have any weaknesses early? Do they have the ability to kind of continue to be checked at all by the enemy team? And I'm just not sure what the answer to that is. It looked like Penguin Pajama Party really had a good avenue back with their team fighting, with it looked really strong with their engages, but I'm not sure. They just have to hang in there a little bit better early on.
Yeah, they absolutely had some opportunities, and there are potentially some draft adjustments they can make, but at the end of the day, there are only so many things you can ban, right? You have to give them something. So Penguin Pajama Party is going to have to ask themselves, what poison would they prefer, right? Where can they really take that key Jenga piece out of this composition? Because even at the jump from draft, we're like, wow, that's a really comfortable comp. It looks really solid, and they played it exactly the way they wanted to. So we're going to have to see. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, it's going to be game two. Will we go to Silver Scrapes and continue the 3-game series, or will Ride or Die continue their just demolition of some of these games? Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. So we had a pretty one-sided game one, if I do say so myself, where Ride or Die rode all over the Penguin Pajama Party and just left nothing but just broken dreams and sad people in their wake. And Box, we were talking about a couple of small kind of in-game adjustments, maybe an itemization here or there, play style here or there. But at the end of the day, comfort was king, and Ride or Die, every single one of their players was on a champion that they were super comfortable with, has a strong TCL track record with, and Penguin Pajama Party just could not slow them down. So as we get into this next champion select, there's some options, but man, they're gonna have to make some serious, not just draft adjustments, but also in-game play adjustments because they're not going to get away with the waiting game with these guys.
Yeah, and I think Ride or Die have a very clear style that they like, and I think the rest of the league just hasn't quite figured out what to do against it yet. The early game pressure, the tempo, the lane strength that they bring, that they just convert into more and more of a gold lead throughout. It's something that eventually somebody's going to have an answer to. So it's really just a question of what that answer looks like. And I think at the moment, Penguin Pajama Party are still at a little bit at a loss because the things that they feel strong in, the things that they're kind of very comfortable with in terms of their composition, the champions that they play, those aren't necessarily ones that answer what Ride or Die like to do super well. But they need a little bit more early game aggression, a little early game strength.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be I feel like we may actually be witnessing in these first 2 to 3 weeks a meta shift in
Mhm.
TCL because historically the meme has been, all right, just wait 30 minutes and then win the game. And we've seen people kind of try to accelerate the game state and just not succeed in this with this ride or die squad. They are succeeding, and they're not doing it by just blasting people's faces off from the start. They're doing it with, as you said, I always call it the boa constrictor offense, right?
Yeah.
Where they take a little and then they take a little more and then they take a little more and then they take a little more, and there's a patience to it, right? They're not rushing. They feel like they have all the time in the world, and they're just suffocating out, and you look up and it's 20 minutes and they've got a 6,000 gold lead.
Yeah, and it never seemed to really go down from that. Even with giving up, frankly, like huge shutdowns, a huge team fight, and almost giving up the Baron, it never really looked like it was a situation that was out of reach or like out of control for them. So I kind of wonder, is that something where if they do get to the stage where now maybe the gold lead isn't as big and they kind of give up plays like that, where now the game is either even or now maybe they're behind, do they start
Yeah.
to kind of like experience a little bit of growing pains or a little bit of problems as a team? But they so far we haven't seen Ride or Die ever experience that because they've had such a dominating lead coming out of every single lane.
Yeah. Well, now to be fair, their wins have not been without adversity, right? They have lost. They have lost. Week one went three. Week two went three. So they haven't just been 2-0 blasting people off the face of the earth. So but yeah, I mean that's the big thing for Penguin Pajama Parties. They kind of have an MO, right? Like it's
Mhm.
almost the exact same squad from Gomega last season, and with one adjustment, which is Espen. So Espen was like, all right, I'm just gonna take the people
Yeah,
that
same
won it
thing.
last year. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yep,
The problem,
exactly.
the downside of that is like it's almost like you know what you're getting, and
Yep.
so that can be problematic when you don't have kind of a fresh mix, fresh formula as we are into Champion Select. So let's see what adjustments they're going to make. I believe it was just a straight up uh, three bands at I'll take mid, and looks like they're just going to continue on with that. And I believe on the side of Ride or Die, it was Mordekaiser, and then they were definitely attacking the top lane pool of Sir
Yeah.
Aaron. And there's the
There's
Mordekaiser
Mordekaiser,
band as well.
Urgot, and then three of Abrams champions, including the
Yes,
Ori, the Azir, and
Rise
the
and then
Ryze.
Azir.
Mhm,
Yeah.
exactly. Meanwhile, we saw, like you said, four toward I'll take mid and then the Gwen.
Yeah, and yep, you're right. It was the Gwen, but they did not ban the Darius. I'm actually curious to see if they're going to get rid of the Darius. Personally,
I'd
I
expect it.
think Darius with Hippo, it's like it's kind of hard for him to fail on Darius,
Yeah.
right? Because even if he gets behind, we've seen it. He knows how to press Ghost, run at you, and hit his buttons, and sometimes that's enough, right? Abarn's team, the Penguin Pajama Party, had kind of one fight as we see kind of the triple ban, no ban changes. Curious if
Same thing.
first pick is going to
Exactly.
change, but they had one good fight where they were able to kite Darius out, but that requires a lot of skill, and the margin for error that is very low, right? Especially with those lower. As we see, wow, Spurg is actually going to take Lilia away from Korean, so we're going to see kind of a fourth ban strategy from the Penguin Pajama Party. Lilia was an absolute menace, and every single time Korean has gotten her this season and last season, he's just been a pain to deal with.
Yeah, I think a couple of things is I actually don't think the Darius was as impactful kind of going into the mid late game as we necessarily expected. I think it's something where he obviously showed a lot of lane strength, was super huge coming out,
For
really kind
sure.
of negated what Sir Aaron was able to do. But when you kind of look into the mid late game, he was kind of just running at them, which honestly the rest of his team was kind of doing anyways. He had some strength to be able to go into the mid game, but I think Hippo might have been able to do that in a lot of different champions. And I don't know if the Darius was necessarily the counter pick with the Jarvan just going against it.
Nice.
But kind of what I was thinking with the Lilia is what Lilia really offered was this kind of long range engage. She just rolls the
Correct.
ball at you, and whoever
Oh,
she landed it on, she was just able to press R.
ooh,
But
spicy. All right,
yeah,
so Rudy actually DM'd me. I'm allowed to say this now. He DM'd me. He said, "Get ready for the rel tonight."
I love it.
he
Yeah,
that's I'm not
that's a
going to say
tactic.
more than that, but Rudy, now that it is public, Rudy did
Yeah,
did ping me before and said, "Hey, get ready, buddy." I'm like,
yeah.
"All right." So we're gonna be talking about rel, and we're gonna see Nautilus. Okay, this is a champion that we've seen Espen on, and even when Espen was a jungler, right? His thing is tanky initiators, tanky
Mhm.
initiators, tanky initiators. That's what he's good at. That's what he's really kind of made his money on. So I'm happy to see him on that tank initiative. We're seeing a Zaya, Kaisa. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna pick? You already have the Lilia.
This is a
Oh, it's just
difficult
gonna be
situation.
Jinx.
Yeah,
Why
and
not? If
Kai'Sa's
she's
tough.
available, just grab her.
I think Kai'Sa's
But
kind of
yeah,
tough
we see
because
the
she is a
rel, and
short
I'm
range
curious what they're
carry.
gonna grab. There's the Galio. I'll take mid. Hat tip to the Galio pick, which he pulls out once in a blue moon.
Yeah, I think you kind of look at man. I wonder if they're actually going to put him on the galley. I highly doubt it, but
I don't
I
think
suppose
so.
this is possible. And one thing you kind of look at, and they are still trying to draft in comfort, but at the same time, they're trying to bust out some new picks, things that they've been practicing, things that they haven't necessarily shown anyone yet, but they just kind of roll with. As we once again see the Zaya coming out for Toasty TG. Like I said, that I think it's kind of an ideal fit as a champion for how Toasty wants to play within the context of this team. But
Yeah,
more Jinx, still looking for those big resets, especially against something like a Jarvan Rel. Not a ton of safety that's going to be offered. And there's no
no.
thresh for him or anything. So once he kind of gets dope, and especially with Rel, since the changes with her Q stunning, it kind of gives her a lot of flash engage potential.
Yeah, it really does, and I'll take mid. I'll take mid Caridian. Have every single person on that team except for Toasty. They've made it very clear they just want to dive headfirst into the enemy team, either
Exactly.
run at them, jump at them, whatever it takes.
Same
All of
dance.
the teleports and move blocks are going forward, right? They're charging forward. So yeah, making sure Toasty has that autonomy, has that safety. There's the Azir ban. So 0 bans changed so
Mhm.
far. That is a ban changed. So I'll take mid will not have
Okay.
access to Nico. They are leaving up the
Leaving it Gwen.
Gwen. And they're letting Hippo pick whatever he wants at this point.
Exactly. I think they're thinking Hippo might just do the same thing regardless of the champion that he picks. Where he's going to have these opportunities to make big plays in lane, but he's going to do that regardless of whether he's on Darius or the Yone or
I will say, I
whatever,
really
you
hope
know?
Saren picks
So,
Set again. I was gonna say, I really
uh,
hope Saren picks
yeah,
Set. Set beats the absolute crap out of Yone. Like just absolute beats the absolute crap out of him. So if I really hope he doesn't get scared off of that champion because Set wins this matchup so effing hard, especially early.
mhm,
And that could just let his team kind of go. There's the Corky pick. You had called it out where it could be a potential thing for a potential mid lane pick for Abarn. So they're going for the double AD, going for kind of an interesting like kind of catch kite back comp with some really solid siege. And then Sir Aaron, yeah, he could. I personally think he could grab the set here. I know for a fact that set wins that
yeah.
matchup very, very hard, but it's about what the team needs sometimes. Wow, interesting.
Oh,
That is
Garen.
not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I think they kind of had an interesting draft plan going into this. I'm not sure how the Lilia necessarily fits into this. I don't know who's necessarily following up with the Lilia. It's not like they have a
Mhm.
huge wombo or anything. I think the ability of the Garen to both split the map and just kind of sit in a bush and wait for somebody like a Zaya or a Yon to kind of come out is definitely pretty enticing. But are we actually going to see it?
Oh
There's a
yeah, let's
fizz.
go. I've been
Dude, I
hoping for a
love it.
fizz all season.
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought Tony was
interested
going to bust
to.
it out first because I saw it in his match history. But yeah, we did have a couple of chatters saying that Yone it could have been an all take mid,
No way.
like an all take mid bait, since all take mid
No
can
way.
play a
Yeah.
lot of things. But yeah,
Yeah,
not the
that
case.
was always
We're gonna see Fizz. This is gonna be fun because you know that Fizz is gonna be hunting for kills early and often, pre-6. And until Abarn gets those rockets, he's gonna be a vulnerable little Yordle. So yeah, wow. What do you think so far?
I'm not sure what the Penguin Pajamas party's game plan is with this composition. I think they have a lot of things that they can do. They have some pretty decent poke. They obviously have like some scaling with both the Lilia and the Jinx and the Corki. My concern is what kind of do they get run over early in the same kind of situation? What's kind of Spurg's game plan? Did they really draft something that's too different that kind of enables them to have different plays early on? Meanwhile, on the other side, we're still seeing kind of like same formula. Fizz offering early game power, going to combo really well with this Jarvan. Meanwhile, Xayah Rel has definitely opportunities to look for kills. You look at what Rel is kind of able to do, especially comboing the CC with Xayah Root. And meanwhile, Yone is probably just going to kind of continue to do his thing.
I'm laughing at chat. They're like, Lord Check is Corki a Yordle? Yes, Corki is a Yordle. To the best of my knowledge, Corki is a Yordle.
Yep.
Yeah, but yes,
he is probably the most annoying Yordle. I don't know. Corky's
really?
I think Corky's voice lines. I don't know. It's something about him.
You think Corki is more annoying than Teemo? That is. Well, that is a brave statement.
No, not like I'm not talking about Kit. I'm talking about like his voice lines. Have you ever listened to like Corki talk?
Oh yeah. I actually played a ton of Corki. Was one of my go-to ADs back in the day.
He's the only champion that makes me wish we could selectively mute voice lines.
Oh, it's like I just don't want to hear this voice line. Yeah, like exactly. I don't mind the other ones. I just don't want to hear the rest of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Regardless.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, if anybody wants to have an opinion, we got 2 minutes left. Feel free to jump into Armchair Analyst. But yeah, what do you? So I actually agree with you. I was gonna say I like the dive potential. We were saying before, right? They have a style. They've decided that the TCL meta is now 4 people dive and then the AD is on their own, and they're gonna do that repeatedly and just get like lane bullies who can kind of hit those level 2s, hit those level 4s, hit those level 6s. Cruise it into a 10-minute skirmish and then just run the game over from there. The interesting thing that that Penguin Pajama has that Ride or Die does not have is they have really good siege. So if they can kind of keep Ride or Die at bay, Penguin Pajama Party should be able to kind of wear them down. They do have a little bit of split push potential, but yeah, just the sheer chase down and the mobility on the side of Ride or Die is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if this Jinx is going to be able to get unlocked at all, she can just die instantly to this comp. Yeah. Of course, the flip side of it is then if Ride or Die aren't able to immediately get onto this Jinx, they don't exactly have a comp that is going to age well as this game goes on. So you kind of look at do they have the opportunity to kill the Jinx right away, or does Jinx have the opportunity to just kind of continue to pepper rockets over top? And if Jinx can do that, she might just be in a position to be able to melt the entire enemy team, especially with Corki rockets coming through.
Well, it's interesting as I'm looking at these comps. I mean, I'm assuming you're gonna go Ride or Die on this one. I'm inclined to agree with you in terms of who the winner is. But you know what I would love to see. Assuming this game goes 3, I would love to see, because like the counter to this kind of style is like a Renata. Or a Morgana, or like someone that's just like, yes, engage into me, I effing dare you, and like that is the one thing that Penguin Pajama Party just really doesn't have. They don't have a dive me, I dare you, right? And maybe they can itemize for it, and maybe they can do something like that. But like that's the really big thing that if they get 2-0'd, that's what I'm gonna look for is like, did they just not have, to your point, did they not have something to just deter people from just dive bombing the Jinx, killing her, and then forcing A-Barn to carry all the all the damage load? They do have a lot of different damage threats, right? As we saw with Caridian, the Lilia could get moving, the Garen could get moving. There's definitely some options, but at the end of the day, everything rolls through Jinx. We'd said it before. Jinx is really, really busted right now, and so she gets moving. She's great.
My concern is that what they thought the Janna would be? Like, is that why they kind of picked Janna during the last game? Did they think they would be able to kind of counter this kind of Dive comp with that champion? Like you said, I think Renata might have been the play. I think that's a champion that I think, like you said, combos really well. Of course, you're trading a little bit of that lane, a little bit of that lane strength for that. But the flip side of that being, there's a clear identity with Ride or Die. They know what they want to do. They kind of have a clear idea of what they want to do in every single role, every single lane, and that lends itself to a very natural synergy.
Oh boy. Yeah, here we go. We're gonna see it. Espen getting for the face rock. The counter engage. Rudy dives into all of them, and Espen flashing out, getting ignited. He's gonna go low. Saron gets low as well. Everybody's flashing. Counter flash. Hippo gets first blood. A-Barn goes down in route. So a disaster for Penguin Pajama Party early. Ryoklu trying to get some counter kills on the back end, but she's just gonna walk in and die. So that is going to be 4-0 in favor of Ride or Die on a disastrous face check for the Penguin Pajama Party. Ride or Die must be loving this start.
Yeah, and everyone got a piece of the pie. The only person who's missing out on that 1 kill participation is Hippogriff. Oh man, who I believe got first blood, so he doesn't even care.
Yeah, he got first blood. He's chilling.
Yeah, this is tragic. If this was a solo queue game, this is one where you'd pretty much just say go mid, go just open mid.
Yeah, well, thankfully it's not. It is a team game, so we'll see if they can take advantage. But you know, this is a squad that has been known to know what to do with a bit of an advantage, and they certainly have one as we approach the 2-minute mark. Normally, I'm saying, you know, you've got a 2,000 gold lead at the 10-minute mark. They have a 2,000 gold lead at the 2-minute mark. Yikes!
This is already something where they're going to go back and they're already going to have such an item advantage. The Dark Seal over on the Fizz, the Dagger already on the Yone, the move speed from Rel. Just the opportunity to both buy pots, buy additional gold. It's going to make the lane phase that was already hard for them, just psychologically more difficult and literally more difficult as well.
Yeah, and that's something I'm assuming this has to have been, as we see a hook going down onto Rudy. This is the danger with Ride or Die, where they get excited, they get ahead, and they potentially overextend. That's something we saw in game 1, even as they were like horrendously ahead, right? Like gratuitously ahead, disgustingly ahead, and they still would overextend, right? So that is kind of the glimmer of hope for Penguin Pajama Party, is like making sure that they can like kind of settle down. Don't give up more than you already want to, as we see All Take Mid just taking everything that he wants out of that mid lane. That's really what they need to do in order to kind of stabilize and get back into this game.
I had assumed that I'll Take Mid had used this Ignite during that level 1, but he actually still has it for this lane pressure. So that's something that,
oh yeah, we see Spurg going in. Spurg is actually going to kill Caridian. Wow, that's a great turn. That's exactly what he wants, getting the double buffs. Caridian is down. So that early pressure that we've seen from Caridian not going to be there for those early lanes and to be able to get that snowball rolling. As we see Flash come in from All Take Mid, there's the Ignite. E goes in, he's just going to swag walk away, and that's a see you later, Corki. And All Take Mid has a full minion wave, so he's going to be able to make some serious damage down onto this turret, knowing actually, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to be as pressured because Caridian is down, but Abarn teleporting in immediately, going to catch as much as he can, but that's a big deficit in the mid lane.
Another fight down here in the bot lane.
Oh yeah, we'd already see Espen getting low, stunned down. He is going to be able to hook out, baits out the Ignite actually, so he's going to be able to walk away. Rudy does not have his flash yet, but Hippo really kind of beating the Tara. Sir Aaron, thankfully Sir Aaron does have that sustain, so he's going to be able to sustain his way through. But Hippo already with a massive CS advantage this early, got the kill, got the 2 assists, and going for it. Rudy, meanwhile, is going to try to attack Spurg. This is actually a 3v1 situation. Spurg stunned down, getting low, and he's just going to see ya later. Caridian getting a little bit of revenge for that 1v1, and Ride or Die making sure that they maintain this advantage as we hit almost 4.5 minutes.
Spurg definitely expecting Caridian to be around his top side camps right now as they're starting to come back up pretty soon, but I don't think he actually gone for his bot side clear. So I think that's something where you kind of look at what Caridian wanted to do and what Spurg expected him to do, and there's just a little bit of a discontinuity there. So nonetheless, he gives up his life for it. But in the bot lane, I think ultimately still decent little bit of strength on the Jinx, despite that 1 death early. Still looking okay with the Nautilus. It's not like they're just gonna be free engages, but in the mid lane with that solo kill, I'll take mid on the Abarn. That's what I wanted to kind of hint at. With that Ignite still available to him, he gave him so much strength to be able to look for that, especially on a champion like Fizz.
Yeah, and I'll take mid is super low, so Spurg and Abarn could potentially look for this. Yeah, it looks like I'll take mid is just going to take away. So Abarn getting a little bit of breathing room, but I'll take mid far and away and ahead. And can I see how much gold he has in his pocket before he buys, real quick? Okay, doesn't have a ton. Let me just see what. Yeah, let's see what he bought. Okay, so yeah, he gets a little bit of a boost. And yeah, just continuing to kind of try to stack that Dark Seal and snowball ahead, because Abarn is very much that is a quirky scaling build. He's got his tier, so he's going to be having a rough first 10 to 15 minutes as we see Hippo rolling in, trying to engage on Spurg as Sir Aaron is forced to farm under his turret.
Yeah, Sir Aaron needs to come to this now. He's level 6 to level 4, but he can definitely look for this regardless. Hippogriff with now not a ton of visibility.
No, and Abarn's a little low on mana. Spurg kind of in a 2v1 situation, so Hippogriff could potentially be caught out. Misses his ulti, and Sir Aaron with the execute. So the overextension from Hippogriff in a 1v2 situation spells death, and Sir Aaron's going to be able to get a little bit. So that's what Penguin Pajama is like. We're just give us a little bit, just claw our way back bit by bit, and if they can keep doing that for 20 to 30 minutes, we're going to have ourselves a game.
actually gonna put Sir Aaron in a pretty decent spot. I think this is a lane that kind of naturally kind of fluctuates a lot as levels kind of start to rise. But if Garen can kind of get unlocked, get going, be a deep backline threat against someone like the Zaya or the Fizz, just being able to silence them, I think that's something where they can kind of get this.
Oh wow.
Spoke a little too soon.
Okay. All right. It looks like in the top side, Credian came top, and then Sir just it was a magic trick. He made him disappear. Yeah, but it's. Oh yeah, no, you're right. Credian was hovering. He hadn't actually engaged quite yet, but yeah, that seems to be the case. This is like ultimate volatility top lane, because someone's gonna kill someone else so fast that like you don't even realize it. And as soon as they're on it, they're both just slamming their buttons as hard as they possibly can. So shout out Joa, do your best to try. But these guys are super bloodthirsty. As we see Spur coming in with Sir Aaron trying to get the revenge immediately, getting the dunk, forcing the flash. And he's going to dash out and be relatively. Oh my God, I thought he was going to be safe, but he does have the thing. Go for the slap. Oh no, but Credian is there. Spurg is on the wrong side of this jungle, and Credian's going to be able to get the return kill. So Hippogriff survives. Credian gets the kill, and Sir Aaron, going to be able to crash this wave, but Credian's just going to be able to catch it, and that's a tough situation. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, we see a flash out, ignite onto Espen. Espen actually counter engages back in. Rilku is low, but Toasty is just slapping away. Could potentially pull those feathers back for a stun, but Rilku doing a good job of trying to stay away from that pullback. Rudy fairly low as well. Flashes up on the side of Ride or Die. Only one double sums on the side of Rilku, so they're going to have to be careful of, as I said, there is only one flash with Ride or Die, and it is forward, and they will absolutely use it if they see it.
Exactly. I think Toasty must not have had his E, because if he had the pull, he had at least like 6 feathers down there below the Jinx. Could have gone for the flash pull as well to get the double pull and potentially get both kills. But that's something where if Toasty TG kind of is a little bit more patient with his pullback on his feathers, I think they can definitely start looking for some more kills. But I think he's trying to layer his CC with the Rel, when I think ultimately, if he doesn't have the damage to get the kill initially, it's going to make it difficult regardless.
Yeah, and it looks like they've all but abandoned this top lane, because they're just letting Hippo kind of slap on this turret. Sir Aaron with a roam is able to get a little bit of pressure and push I'll Take Mid back, but I believe I'll Take Mid was just he was just going to leave anyway. No summoners burned, and Hippo is just really getting ahead onto this top side. And in the bottom side, Ryoklu and Espen being pushed back, doing a good job of playing defense, right? Ryoklu is maintaining farm. The Cull is cruising along as well. So they're doing a great job of kind of stabilizing and doing what they can, but the damage really has already been done. And so I do have to keep getting credit as we see a flash in, counter flash out. Wow, great play from Rudy. Relling all over that bot lane. Just as I said, they were doing a great job. He must have heard me, because now they're both dead. Because on a great engage, and as I said, there is only one flash, and it is forward, and it results in a double kill.
That's kind of what we're talking about. A difficult situation. Ryoklu needed to kind of flash laterally a little bit more rather than kind of directly back, and as a result, still got kind of sucked in and got layered in with the Jarvan EQ plus the Toasty CG pull on the feathers. It's something where this is kind of what we're talking about. Their access to Jinx is so much more strong with this Nautilus versus with the Janna. So it's like, if Jinx can get unlocked, then he's going to be very difficult to deal with. But if the early game goes like this, I'm not sure what Jinx is going to be able to do as an Imposter.
No, it's going to be rough. I did want to call out. I don't know if we even mentioned that they actually lane swapped to Penguin Pajama Party. They decided that, oh no, Spur getting grabbed on. Credian is there. There is the double. This duo is well on their way. If they keep this up, they are well on their way to a title, because holy crap, they are just there for each other at all times. And Credian just knows how to keep his boys fed. Wow. I'll Take Mid. Lane swap ain't really doing much, and Jungler comes in trying to make something happen. He's going to go for he's actually going to go for a push. Sir Aaron is there with the Espen roam. Abarn is there as well, so 3 people is what it's going to take, plus a package. Shutdown goes on to Sir Aaron, and yeah, they actually did a lane swap where Abarn went top against Hippo, Sir Aaron mid against I'll Take Mid in the Fizz, but Hippo is down. We're down to probably 1 plate and change. He is going to be accelerated out of this very, very quickly, as we see about 1,000 8,000-ish gold advantage across the board. So not a massive advantage, but in terms of the relative game state, as we see Ryoku just getting dove straight up by Toasty. And then Rudy goes golden. Great tower aggro juggling. Hippo gonna try to make something happen, but it looks like they're gonna be able to knock him out. Ulti is down for Sir Aaron, so they're gonna have to do this the old school way. He's gonna survive. No, don't lose to the minions. Don't die to the minions. Okay, he gets away. Good job, bud. No, seriously, dude, don't die to the minions. Okay, 11 minutes in. Across the board, everybody has about 1,000 gold, right? And this early in the game, that's big. But Penguin Pajama Party are still making plays across the map to try and keep themselves in this. They want this to be messy. They want this to be hard. They want this to be not a straightforward pathway, right? And they're doing it. But man, it's an uphill climb for sure.
They're kind of putting all their eggs into this Garen basket. You look at where all the gold has gone from these fights, and despite being so far down in gold already, just out of lane, they're still putting all of their resources to try and get in caught up. And I'm just not sure that's the play. Garen's going to have to be putting in a lot of legwork in the side lanes in order to make this worth it for them. But
yeah, and he could, Yone still hasn't finished his first item, right? Like Yone is one of those champions. He gets 2 to 3 items. That's when he really starts moving. As we see Rel jumping in onto Ryoku. Ryoku gets stunned down. That is the downside of a low mobility carry. They cannot take care of themselves. They need some help. Espen trying to get out, does a great hook to get away, but there may be a dive in his future if he sticks around too much. Spurg is going to try to alleviate a little bit of pressure, but Espen, dude, I think you might need to get out of there. Because they dove you once, they're going to do it again. Spurg is here for the potential counter engage. Rudy gets the knock up on Espen. Espen gets stunned out. Toasty is there, so it's a 2v2 jungle and support versus AD, but now soon to be a 3v2. Toasty cleanses the Drowsy, gets the stun, knocks out Espen. Spurg is now running for his life in a 3v1 situation, and they're going to go roll in. Flag and drag does not hit, but they do get the slow. Not quite able to get any other CC, and Spurg is just doing his best to stay alive and waste as much time as possible. As Sir Aaron is knocking down that mid turret, Spurg finally goes down. They're going to be able to grab this bottom scuttle, and Sir Aaron not quite able to knock out that mid outer turret. That's such a key turret in terms of denying vision, in terms of just applying pressure. Not quite able to get it. Spurg, good job trying to last as long as he could, but just not a great situation for Penguin Pajama Party to be in the first place.
It just looks so outpaced. You kind of look around where everyone is making the initiative, and it's always ride or die. They're always the ones that are grouped up first. They're always the ones that are making plays first. And they're the ones that ultimately are the victors coming out of every single one of these situations. Like, sure, like Garen gets some free play gold in some situations, but...
Yeah, and we see I'll Take Mid just rolls in and just murders Ryoklu, and he's just going to be able to walk away.
Yeah.
Just walks away. That's...
Ryoklu's died 3 times in the last 3 minutes, and that's just a situation where regardless of how the rest of the lane is going, like, you just can't be having that.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to respect it's not your lane, right? It's not your lane. It's not your map anymore. And that's just how things are going to be. As we see, finally, mid outer goes down. Hippo misses the ulti, and AiBox going to just pound as hard as he can onto that Sword Boy. But he's at 50% health. Caridian is trying to sneak this Rift Herald. His team is coming in. Spurg and Sir Aaron are harassing pretty heavily. Rudy is there. Hippo is there as well. We know the ulti is down. This could potentially turn into a smite fight if Rudy goes in. No, Spurg is actually going to pick this one up, but this is a disadvantage for Penguin Pajama Party. As we see the dive in onto Hippo. Hippo gets the shield. Rudy is there. Toasty not able to get the kill, but Rudy jumps in. Hippo gets the kill, and they're now going to steal away the blue buff. So Herald going to Spurg, but paying for it with 3 more kills, going to ride or die. And Ryoklu is dead again. Oof. Yeah, Jinx is busted, but she needs to be alive to be busted.
She needs to respect the ability of the enemy to be on her. Like, she can't be in the side lane just pushed up that far, and that's kind of how she's died the last 2 times. I mean, yeah, there's that one dive that kind of sent the spiraling in the wrong direction, but a few of these are just a situation where you just can't be standing in that location, especially as a Jinx with no support.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about as well, about like who's keeping the Jinx alive, because there's no one really on Penguin Pajama Party that can really keep the Jinx alive. Even as Nautilus, if you drop all of your CC on I'll Take Mid, it's like, oh look, a depth charge, I eat it, right? It's like playing a blue deck in Magic. He's like, cool, I counter it. He just doesn't care. As we see a second dragon going down for Ride or Die, starting to really get this snowball rolling. They're about 8,000 gold ahead at the 15-minute mark. Fighting Penguin Pajama Party fighting for buffs at this point, and Ryoklu once again just being an AD carry against a Fed assassin. Just there's not much you can do, and the scoreline says it all.
No no vision, has no idea where the Fizz is. I mean, look at the vision line that Ride or Die has been able to put forward.
Can we see the vision, please? Can we just jump between the two? I just want to see where the vision is.
To the side of Ride or Die. I mean, they just have vision on chokes, visions around plays that they want to make. Plus, the lineage waves just push up, naturally give you vision. The ability to access any position that they want with this Fizz just gives them so much freedom to look for this kill. I'm not sure at this point. I'm not even sure it's worth taking Ryoklu over at this point. You know, because like it's you're not really getting much gold. The only thing that you're really doing is you're denying her the opportunity to farm and get XP. Which
look at that. Yeah, so Box, this is Blue's map right now, right? Look at that, just no vision in their own jungle, and especially in the top side, bot side. As we see, Hippo gets jumped on again, is able to get a decent amount of damage on Sir Aaron, but Sir Aaron is able to A-Barn actually gets the shutdown. So they're clearly that is the pressure point that they're seeing. They're saying, okay, Hippo likes to overextend, let's take advantage of that, and just get out, right? Guerrilla tactics, do our best, try to get what we want. But
no, Sir Aaron stayed.
Oh no, he stayed. Oh, Sir Aaron. Oh, that is greedy. As we said, they've got great vision. They know where everybody is. They needed to commit to the guerrilla tactics and just get the kill and get out, because they're not going to win a straight up fight. This is just going to be Ride or Die throwing their wallet at Pajama party.
That was a ridiculous play that you're trying to make there. I just don't think that that's something that's ever going to work out for you. You get the kill, just get out. It's worth, and now the fight is worth it. But instead stays, dies, gives up another kill to the enemy team on this Garen, which that's kind of what I was trying to get at. It's like, I'm not sure it's worth putting all your eggs in this basket, where Garen's going to want to just kind of do his own thing regardless of health and style.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, I'll take mid. He's feeling himself at this point. He's just going to go for the kill, flash out, and try to get away. A-Barn going to try to get the return kill. I'll take mid getting low. Ease out. He's going to blast cone away. See you later. That is an absolute robbery by the Fishman.
Yeah, and Jinx looking for any kill participation he can. 0, 7, and 0 versus 7, 0, and 6. Oh, apparently I am still very quiet. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay.
Cool.
Not sure why my mic. I keep moving it closer, but I can't keep getting quieter.
Maybe it's one of those things where the mics sometimes are like, "Hey, I'm trying to level you out," and then they just like it's like this infinite asymptote of like it always keeps like getting quieter as you try to say more. As we see Sir Aaron in a battle with Hippo. This is actually pretty good for Sir Aaron. See you later, Hippo. Sir Aaron is at the point where he can absolutely 1v1 Hippo, just showing that Rift Herald going down. Onto the top side, so they're gonna finally knock down that that top outer, excuse me, as I'll take mid jumps on to Espen. Espen is quote end quote tanky, but not really tanky considering he's 2 levels behind his other support. The fish goes down, he gets knocked up. I'll take mid, going for the kill. Oh, he's gonna delay it. Yeah, there it is. The E finally gets it, but here comes the counter engage from Spurg flashing in, does get the drowsy onto I'll take mid. I'll take mid is asleep. I'll take mid is dead. Spurg pays for it for his life, but then we've got 2 people diving in onto Ryoklu. Ryoklu is dead. Toasty is legendary. Rudy is on a killing spree, and A-Barn is stuck under his tower with nowhere to go, and 3 very angry champions trying to kill him. Flash going in onto Caridian goes for the dunk, and that is a dead A-Barn. Beautiful tower dive, and that is going to be a 3-for-1 in favor of Ride or Die, continuing to just roll over this series 19 minutes in.
Yeah, honestly, just kind of looking at this overall, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Ryoklu's going to be able to get back into it. It's going to have to be a show where, like, is Corki going to be able to do enough damage around objective setup to be able to try and make a play? But at this point, with 9K gold down, we're almost in the exact situation that we saw last game. So I don't know if they have the ability, because like you saw what happened last game. We saw what the
Oh, man. Actually, Sir Aaron should win this. Like, Hippo's pretty... Yeah, he should win this. All right, you got the ulti? Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, that's sad. Okay.
How about now? Is this better, worse?
I would just, like, jack your gain up. I don't think it's proximity to the mic. I think you just jack your gain up, and that should work. Because I'm assuming that your system is probably like auto adjusting. So if there's a way for you to turn off auto adjust, as we see Rudy going in, does miss it, however, does get the double stun onto A-Barn and Espen. Ryoklu is far back, but man, at this point, Ryoklu is probably shell shocked where she's just playing so far back, expecting a Fizz. She's going to see Fizz in her nightmares for like the next week on this one, because every single time she gets even remotely close to a fight, even if she has teammates nearby, it's just not going to work out. But yeah, Box, I would say just jack up your gain and try to turn off any like auto adjust, and then you should be good to go. But this is the siege that we were talking about, where if they can get into a siege situation, Abarn and Ryoklu do have decent poke. Lilia as well. Like all of the three out of the 5 champions have really solid poke, and there's a world where they could get, get Hippo, get Toasty, potentially get mid knocked down. The problem is that they're just not able to do it, because by the time they get in pseudo range, as we see Dragon being attacked by Ride or Die. Ride is looking for stuff. I'll take mid. Jump on a Spurg, does miss the shark, but it's not really going to matter. He's going to eat. Silly doggy. I forgot it was the doggy skin, which is absolutely adorable. Is that a King Charles? I believe it's a King Charles, and it's a derpy husky for the shark. So Rudy jiving in onto Abarn, gonna go for the charge. Is able to get the knock up. Does get the stun, and Abarn, despite all of that, tanks the ignite, able to walk away. Getting some good tank. Those rockets are starting to hit hard, but they are just so far behind at this point that it just really doesn't matter. And any poke that they drop is just gets shrugged off at this point.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Is this better?
Sounds much better.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, we're just gonna have to run with it. I've tried a few things, so hopefully this works. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much there is more to say about the game state and then the way these teams are playing. I'm not sure if it's gonna be better or worse for them, regardless of what they do. I think it's just they're gonna have to hold steady and probably hope for another 30 minutes of game to try and get back and do it.
They almost need to get to the point where gold doesn't matter, right? They need to get to the point where they have 60,000 gold, 70,000 gold. They are currently sneaking this Baron, and with the Jinx, they absolutely could do it. They Ride or Die is wise to it, and this Baron is going down. I don't know if it's going down fast enough. This could be a huge objective bounty. Espen is going to just try to die for his heroes. Caridian is there. Is he going to be able to secure it? Here we go. Smite fight incoming, and it's actually going to be a double kill for I'll Take Mid and a steal for Caridian. That has got to be the dagger, as I'll Take Mid just runs over this team. Killing spree for Caridian, triple kill for I'll Take Mid, Baron for Ride or Die, and the last gasp of hope for Penguin Pajama Party is just squeezed out as we see the last of the ribs crack in this Boa Constrictor offense.
Yeah, they didn't really have a choice. That's the only play they had. That's the one they needed to make. Ultimately, obviously didn't go their way, but the game was over regardless of that being the case. So this is something that I think that was what they were like, okay, we can maybe get some bounty gold, stall this game out a little bit longer with the Baron, give up Espen's life, and hopefully that's enough to stall. I mean, it wasn't at the end of the day, but I don't think that's necessarily makes the wrong call. As they're trying to get a kill hit here, maybe on the backside.
Oh yeah, we absolutely could. Espen going in, still not as tanky as he wants to be, but everybody on Ride or Die is incredibly low, and they have not got an inhibitor. So flash in. Oh my God, what a counter engage! Hippogriff with a turnaround ulti, able to get a double kill. So kind of salvaging what could have been a really gross turnaround in favor of Penguin Pajama Party. As Caridian dives in, it's a 3-for-2 in favor of Ride or Die. Once again, that item advantage really paying dividends as Sir Aaron is trapped in the middle of things. I'll Take Mid, meanwhile, gonna finally go down, dominating, but Rudy and Caridian are going to survive, and with almost everybody dead except for Espen, they should be able to take down this turret. And if Espen engages, yeah, they're really far ahead, dude. I don't know if I would do that. Yeah, Espen's going to go low. We'll see how hard they're going to chase him down. Yeah, they're going to chase him down and just go for the kill. Ryoklu is back, so they're probably going to have to respect this, along with Abarn. They're going to try to see if they can sneak out this inhibitor, potentially staying too long. Rudy goes down, shut down for Ryoklu. Ryoklu gets excited, is going to try to get the flank down on Caridian. Caridian's low on mana. I believe he has enough for maybe one more flag and drag. As the chase begins, we see Toasty is in the mid lane, gonna try to catch him, and yeah, they're just gonna walk away from this engage as Hippo rolls in. I'm gonna need to double check that he potentially, yeah, he teleported in for this. Oh man, I love it. I absolutely love it. He's just going in. He doesn't care. He just teleported into 4 people. I think he might actually die for it. He flashes out. But yeah, Hippo actually teleporting in to try and save his jungler. Looks like he's probably going to pay for it with his life as the Jinx rocket. Oh, sidesteps the Jinx rocket, but the final shutdown goes onto Spurg. So Hippo, unfortunately, a bit of a wasted teleport. It looked pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool, but not really able to do much with it outside of maybe some swag points. As Caridian jumps onto Spurg, gets the dunk onto them. He's going to go low. Caridian goes unstoppable. Meanwhile, we have a 2-on-1 situation with I'll Take Mid. There's the I ignore things, I counter it, aka Fizz's E, where the depth charge is completely negated. So a 2-for-1 in favor of the Penguin Pajama Party.
Yeah, you want to talk about an extended fight? That fight just was the one that never ended. I mean, Ride or Die at this point, they're kind of just gooning around. They know that they pretty much got this locked up. They just have to at some point end the game. So they're just kind of having a good time with it. I'll take mid Critty and kind of keep doing their own thing, still able to secure kills on each side, just kind of flexing the wallet. But the entire time, Hippogriff just kind of running away, still gets kind of chased down. But Crittian just chilling, taking the jungle camp, sitting on a pink board, able to secure Spurg just by himself, by his lonesome. And Rudy finally giving up that shutdown. Goodbye, KDA. You're now 4-1-25.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Rudy's a beefy boy. Yeah, so just scroll on, right? We got 13-5 Fizz, 7-2. Like the kill participation is insane. Espen's coming, flying over the wall, trying to make some happen. This is going to be the last stand for Penguin Pajama Party as they're going in. Espen goes low. Sir Aaron doing his best to tank as much as he possibly can. Ceridian secures as that's going to be the soul. Drowsy goes down into Hippo, so Hippo's going to die. Ryoko able to get a kill, but that's going to be 3-for-1 in favor, and this is going to be the fourth. See you later, Spurg. That's 4-for-1 in favor of Ride or Die, and they enjoy their red carpet towards the Nexus as they absolutely slam the door in Penguin Pajama Party's face. Sorry, y'all. Party's over. We're calling the cops. We're taking this 2-0.
Yeah, exactly. Toasty doing a lot of damage on the back line, just kind of chilling in the pit, waiting for things to happen. Meanwhile, Altikman going for yet another kill. Ryoku might just be dead here if he gets any sort of...
Oh my god.
Just lands the E, goes for the Q, and all of that extra on-hit damage from things like Sheen, from the Pro Belt, it's just a bad situation. And now there's the game. 27.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to be the game. That is a emphatic 2-0 for Ride or Die, cementing their place at the top of the rankings. And just what an absolute clinic.
Yeah.
Come, I'll take it. Just start to finish, both games just absolutely smashing across the board. I mean, I don't know about you. I know we were kind of like, maybe Critty, maybe not, but I think I'll take Mid is absolutely undisputed MVP for this freshly minted Masters and really showing it in both games.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to argue against anything like that. I think obviously the level 1 didn't help, but I think regardless of how that level 1 went, I think it did look like that Penguin Pajama Party was just a little bit outclassed going throughout both of those early games. Even if they had come away with 4 kills, I'm not sure we would have seen a result that would have been that different.
Yeah, that's fair. Unfortunately, I'm getting word that I'll Take Mid has actually left, potentially the reason for the early start. So I think either we're gonna have to either we'll have someone collect the MVP on I'll Take Mid's behalf, or we can select another MVP.
I mean, we still got Rudy and Toasty in the house, so let's just pick one of them then.
All right. What do you think? Who do you think's got it?
Honestly, Toasty's been a rock. I'm happy to hear from him. He's always a fun interview too. So let's do that.
All right, Toasty, get in here. Let's see. Can we get Toasty?
I'll pull him.
There he is. Hello, Mr. Toasty. Congratulations. You are our MVP for this series. I'll Take Mid got Masters. We didn't want to feed his ego too much, so we wanted to make sure that I'll think I'm half joking, but seriously, you were as Box said, you were an absolute rock this series, and especially I know that you play really, really well when you're motivated, and I know some of the Fate's new corner rankings are always a little bit of extra fuel. So I have to ask, were you inspired by some of the back and forth and some of the rankings before jumping into the series?
Well, first of all, I want to collect this MVP on behalf of I'll Take Mid because the dude is an absolute monster. And I guess in terms of the Fate's new corner stuff, like originally I wasn't supposed to play this season. I was kind of motivated to play just by Abarn asking the old Toasty would have done it sort of mentality. So
wow.
So here I am.
Gotta love that peer pressure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But all in all, I think the big goal for me this season is to really not have an ego and not really care. And that's something historically that I have done. And it's brought my mental to lowest of lows in all seriousness. So this season I really just wanted to focus on not caring. Just kind of just looking at TCL like it's a Reddit thread. And just not really caring. Because I'm going to be completely honest with you, man. Half these teams need to stop typing and keep practicing.
Yo, let's go. That's true. That is wasted APM, right? If you spend all your time in if you spend all of your time in a Discord channel, that is in StarCraft terms, that is wasted APM. It makes your APM look very, very high,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
that's not efficiency, right? You're not getting that. You're not getting those clicks. You're not
Yeah.
getting those combos, and yeah,
I
it can
mean,
sometimes show.
all things considered, I look at all the like 15-page manifestos of like who's the best player in this league and like who's the best here, who's the best that. Like, who really cares? It really just comes down to who plays well, who plays better as a team.
Yeah. Who's got the
And
most
yeah,
competent
I
team
really
to do
think
that?
that. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think I 100% agree. And I think going with it into it with the right mentality, you're playing for the team, you're giving them opportunities to really shine. And I think that's something that's certainly paying off dividends.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I really like my team. They're a bunch of really good dudes. We have a lot of fun in comms, and really just whatever happens, where the rider dies, and we're living by that name. Also, hi
Love
mom.
it.
Hi, Mama Knowles. I
Yes.
see you in chat.
Love Mama Knowles. Also, shout out to my partner, Raid Sky. Thank you,
Let's
sweetheart, for
go.
watching.
Love it.
Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Um,
Awesome. So
MVP goes to I'll take mid. Absolutely.
true. I do want to ask about the series. Go ahead, Box, if you got a question.
Nope, I'm all good. You go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say so Zaya both games, right?
Mhm.
And kind of knocked the cover off of both, right? 8-2-5 game one. I think you were 13-1 game two. What was the game plan kind of going into the bot lane matchup?
I wanted to play
What were
Twitch,
y'all
but
looking for? Were
I,
y'all looking for
I
Zyrakan
would
and
have
just
loved
play
to see
Zaya all
that.
day, or what was the plan?
well, Rudy's just a really good Rakan. So obviously having the Zaya Rakan matchup is really good. But I really wanted to play Twitch in the series for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, Zaya's not really known as like a champ that I normally play often, but I have been putting a lot of time into it
Yeah,
just
totally.
for the Zaya Rakan duo. So
And I think it's something that like I kind of shouted it out during the cast a lot, but I really like the way it enables your team to play, and I think that's kind of been the theme with everything this year for you. You're like you're the person that's giving everyone else an opportunity to kind of draft what they want, play what they want. And so, and if that's going to continue to be the case, then I think Zaya is the perfect pick for you, and I really think it's started to pay off.
yeah, well, hopefully other teams start banning it now, so I can
I
play
wish.
Twitch.
I don't know
So-
if that's gonna happen, considering I'll take mid takes 4 bans a
This
game.
is no, he took
Um,
all 5 in that last game.
Oh
That was
yeah,
crazy.
that's absolutely true. Yeah.
I couldn't
So
believe it.
yeah, I was gonna say like, does that give you a little bit more agency? Because we were joking about how like your team has one direction when there is flash or teleports, and it's forward. So is that very much kind of your mentality of like, okay, everybody's gonna dive and I'm kind of on my own, or do y'all kind of like work off of that where you're jumping in with them?
Pretty much. There have been like last week in particular, like some of the comms were just like let Toasty die, let Toasty die.
Oh
Um,
no.
and
That's a bad feeling.
it's really funny because like like Caridian said it best, like keeping my mental in check. It's just like don't want Toasty to explode. But we after talking about it, it literally just like was a yeah, like me dying there actually kind of is the play, even though I'm like 7-2 on Jinx or something. But yeah, champs like Zaya, champs like Ezreal, champs that I can kind of play more so for myself and kind of keep
Let
myself in
Rudy
check.
be that engaged. Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Toasty, congratulations, and then also I'll take mid congratulations. Anything you want to say to your adoring fans at home, some of whom you are related to?
Yeah. Thank you for being with me on this journey back. Um, I'm really doing my best to have a different outlook on the competition as a whole, and I appreciate all the support and all the cool stuff. So, thank you.
All right, man. Congratulations. Go celebrate your team. Rudy's already chirping in chat. So go
Oh, dear
enjoy
God.
hanging out with him. And yeah, we're excited to see you next week against one of the wackiest bot lanes with the beautiful mutant sausages. So
Yeah,
good luck next week.
I'm excited. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks.
that was fast. That's the best way I got, Box. Any final? Speaking of fast, let's. I think we're gonna call it a short night. Any final thoughts before we say our goodbyes?
I mean, first of all, shout out to Joa. Thanks for being on production, kind of hanging out with us, keeping us looking good. Sorry about the sound issues, everyone. But regardless, Ride or Die looking like the dominant force in TCL this season. So I can't wait to see where they kind of go with that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I cannot wait to see. I'll have to double check. Have they played Snickerdoodles yet? Because that is the matchup that I want to see.
Don't believe so.
Let me double check. They have not played the Snickerdoodles. They will play them They will play them week 5. So that is, put that on your calendar, folks. I think that
Yeah, 1
series
o'clock.
is going to be a bananas series if both of those teams kind of keep up. But just as a shout out for this week, we have got tomorrow, we have got the Beautiful Mutant Sausages versus Tails Never Fails. Both teams looking for their first series win. So one of them is going to walk away with a series win. And as we said, it's been so competitive. Almost all of the series, teams are starting to gel. So some of the series are starting to get a little bit more lopsided. But yeah, like even week 1, like a lot of these series have been so competitive. And then on Tuesday, the aforementioned Snakerdoodles going up against Drink More Water. So we've got an action-packed slate for the next couple of days. Thank you all so much for joining us, Box. As always, thank you so much for casting with me. Joa, you are awesome. And most of all, thank you all for hanging out, chatting, and just enjoying the show. We'll see you tomorrow, and have a great night, y'all.
See you guys.